Hey, you heard of Left 4 Dead? You know, the game that Valve made more than a decade ago, around 2005, 2006, that made a sequel almost a year or two later? The game that inspired the game Back for Blood from Turtle Rock Studios? You remember that game? A lot of people still play it. There's Versus, Campaign, especially Versus. A lot of people still play that. There's servers, community servers, modding, a ton of support for Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, especially with the Steam Workshop. A lot of people still play it, and here's the thing though. A voice actor from that game passed away, and this wasn't recent. This was almost 4 years ago. And back in that time, there wasn't much of an outcry for that actor. Now, obviously, with mentioning Valve and voice actors, we all know what happened with Rick May. You know, Peppy and other voice actors, voices that he did with Rick May. The thing is, when this voice actor passed away, he wasn't given much of a memorial. Rick May, I'm not putting Rick May down at all, but when Rick May passed away, he was given a memorial and a very well-known month, an event, and a statue and everything, even his own music track when he passed away. And Valve made a huge announcement about it. What about this actor? He passed away almost 4 years ago, and he was sort of just forgotten. He was just forgotten and swept under the rug. It's almost sad, really. I don't want to forget him. He was one of, if not the best characters Valve made in a long time, and the best part is he wasn't in just Left 4 Dead, he was also in Half-Life 2. Some of you may know who I'm talking about, but let me refresh the memories for others who don't know what I'm saying. I'm talking about Father Gregory, William Bill Overbeck. I'm talking about Jim French.
Son, we just crossed the street. Let's not throw a party till we're out of the city.
And so we meet at last. You are to be commended for avoiding my traps. The work of a man who once had too much time on his hands and now finds time for nothing but the work of salvation.
Now, Jim French, he doesn't seem to have much of a history even in an announcement compared to Rick May. And like I said, I'm not putting Rick May down at all. I still cry when I hear Saluting the Fallen, and I'm sure a lot of you still do too. But what about Jim French? He was passed away back in December 2017. There was a small outcry in honor for him from the Left 4 Dead community, but there wasn't anything official. Nothing by Valve. There's no song, no statue, no announcement. Nothing. Not even Tyler McVicker of Valve News Network didn't even say anything when he passed away. Now, I'm not blaming or being angry at Valve or the community, but my question is why was Jim French more forgotten and merely swept under the rug compared to Rick May? And I'm sure those who play TF2 religiously or constantly, like me, probably, if not, most likely played other Valve games, especially a game like Half-Life 2. Valve's most critically acclaimed game of all time, with its revolutionary physics engine and the Source engine inspiring this huge uprising of modding, models, animating. But what about Jim French? Jim French was the character who helped you throughout Ravenholm, one of Half-Life 2's most unforgettable moments in the game, because this was when Half-Life 2 was turning into more of a horror game, and it's also when you acquire the gravity gun, the most recognizable and memorable item in the entire game. And you play around with it a bunch when there's fast zombies and plenty of objects like bricks, saw blades, spinning objects, everything, when you acquire it, and using the physics engine of Source to kill the zombies and have fun. Hell, even those who play Dota 2, you can probably recognize this voice actor entirely if I mention the name Elder Titan. He voiced Elder Titan. And obviously with the current meta, I'm not sure much about Dota 2 because I don't really play it, but I'm sure Elder Titan has been there a bit more than once. But still, the question is why is there no big memorial or really a remembrance for Jim French compared to Rick May? Like, what happened? Why wasn't there much of a big of an announcement or even official for Jim French? I miss Bill. I miss Father Gregory. And I'm sure a lot of people still miss Bill. He's one of the best characters in Left 4 Dead, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people you know, fight and argue who's gonna play as the old Vietnam veteran in the zombie apocalypse. He's also the only character to canonically sacrifice himself for the other 3 survivors in the original Left 4 Dead. Yeah, he's one of the only survivors that canonically dies. There's literally an achievement to sacrifice Bill in the Sacrifice campaign, but that's not the actor himself. That's not for the actor, that's for the character. Jim French, he does have some history with radio shows like Rick May. He even had his own theater production company. Even still at this, he seems like an almost forgotten voice actor. I almost wish now that Valve, hell, even the community, or even Tyler McVicker, or someone big would do something for honoring Jim French, but there's nothing. There's nothing there for Jim French. It's all about others. It's just... Hell, even looking at the IMDb or Wikipedia page of Jim French, there's barely any info. Look at Jim French's page compared to Rick May. Hell, Jim French was actually older than Rick May. They died around the same age. Jim French was 79, and so was Rick May when they passed away. But there's not much. There's not much for Jim French. And honestly, I don't know what's the... I don't want to put down Rick May. I don't, but people still need to remember that there are other voice actors at Valve, and not just the ones in TF2. There's also voice actors for Half-Life 2, there's voice actors for Left 4 Dead, there's other Valve games that's not just Team Fortress 2. And TF2 may be the most popular one, but Jim French, the most recognizable voice actor. One of Valve's most fun games is Left 4 Dead 2, and most innovating single-player game was Half-Life 2. But why don't people remember Jim French as much as Rick May? When Jim French passed away, there was no outcry, there was no videos being made by him, it's just YouTube comments everywhere saying, "Rest in peace, Jim French." There's no huge announcement. There's nothing for Jim French. He was just forgotten. He was almost forgotten. People forget that William Bill Overbeck, the voice actor, passed away almost 4 years ago. And there's nothing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. Now, the point of this video was to tell people about a voice actor that's touched people's childhoods and gaming career like mine. He passed away almost 4 years ago prior to Rick May. But I don't know. I don't know if this will get anywhere or even have people recognize it. And I hope that this video gains traction. To take note, at the very least, make sure that a very, very recognizable voice actor isn't forgotten. Because that's what he almost is. A forgotten voice actor for Valve. And I want to give my kudos to Jim French for being one of the best voice actors for Left 4 Dead and Half-Life 2. He wasn't in Team Fortress 2, but there's items to commemorate the character Bill, but not the voice actor. There's nothing for the voice actor. There's nothing in Left 4 Dead, there's nothing in Half-Life 2, there's nothing for Jim French. It's just about the character, and not the voice actor. But I really hope that maybe if this goes out anywhere, I hope people can recognize and honor Jim French as much as Rick May has been honored.